Châteauguay.
Surprise, une mention de 30 mm de pluie verglaçante est attendue mercredi pour le jour.
And a very good evening to everyone. It is, what are we right now? Monday, March 9th, 2026, 4:58 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we are on the Exo 28 route, Châteauguay. And I'm going to be filming a ride here on this Nova Bus LFS, fleet number 305516. And I'm going to be going to Châteauguay today to see some potential flooding going on. So hopefully it'll be a smooth ride there. We'll probably be going across the the Mercier Bridge. So this is a pretty scenic route. I don't think I've ever actually taken a bus to Châteauguay from here, Terminus Centre-Ville. And a little bit of trivia for you guys. This is the old RTL 45 bus stop, the famous RTL 45 route. Articulated route that used to go across the Samuel du Champlain Bridge. This is the same stop. So should be leaving in about, right now actually it's 5 p.m. So again, this is the Exo 28 Châteauguay route. And I'll find out what year this Nova bus is, and I'll put it in the description. I have a feeling it could actually be a newer one. Maybe even 2025, I don't know. I just wanted to flip the camera around there so it's easier to film out the window. So I'm actually using one of my ABC tickets that was given to me for free by Exo. You go on their website and you can get technically two free ABC tickets, Zone ABC tickets on one. And I've been wanting to use this for a while, so I figured this is a good time to do it. So here it is here, by the way. You can see the ticket was getting quite old, so it was a good time to use it. And again, it's a Zone ABCD. One trip on here. No, technically two trips. There's Megabus Van Hoel, I believe. So it's basically one, I guess you could say one round trip on this ticket. So one going there, one coming back. Very warm day today in Montreal, Canada. It's about 15 degrees Celsius. You can see we have some nice blue skies. Also worth mentioning, because of this warm weather, we are getting some ice jams in the river. And in fact, that's why I'm going to Châteauguay. As I mentioned, there's apparently some flood alerts going on. There's a 2018 Nova Bus LFS hybrid. Alright, so according to the app here, this ride should be maybe around an hour or so. So I'm going to pull it back up here. I accidentally closed the transit app. Alright, so it's going to be a 45-minute bus ride, not an hour. So 45 minutes. So this is going to be going onto the highway. Right now we're actually going eastbound, but we're going to be going into the highway westbound, right onto the Mercier Bridge. It's going to take us right into Châteauguay. Don't know how traffic's going to be. I don't know if there's maybe some sort of reserved bus lane. There's some more STM buses there, Nova buses. There's a 2020 hybrid. There's one of the newer ones, the 2024 Nova bus. Right there in the back. There's a 2019 Nova bus. So as I mentioned, this is my first time ever taking a bus from Terminus Centre-Ville going to Châteauguay. Usually if I was to go to Châteauguay, I would take a bus from Angrion metro station. So here we are going through Old Montreal right now, heading towards the highway, specifically the 136. We'll be getting on there shortly. Again, hoping that there's some sort of bus lane or something. So I don't really like filming bus rides when there's traffic, per se. There's Plasdar metro station behind that temporary fire station there. Windows are relatively clean on these buses, and as for Exo buses, I do like them. They're very comfortable. As you can see, the seats are quite cushiony, very soft seats. There's Chinatown towards the north. So yeah, the windows are clean, but they're not perfect. But you know, there's a bit of glare, as you can see from the grime. Alright, so now we are going onto the highway here. We're going to be going through the Ville-Marie Tunnel under the city of Montreal. And over there is City Hall, by the way. Hotel de Ville in French. Look at that nice mural there of the Montreal Metro. And it's an MR63 train. So here we are now under the city of Montreal through the Ville-Marie Tunnel. So far it seems that traffic's pretty smooth, but this is technically just the beginning of the highway here. And again, now we are going westbound. This eventually turns into Autoroute 20, going towards the West Island and Vaudreuil, all those areas. Ville-Perrot, there's also the Highway 40 around there as well. But for us, we're going to be turning onto the Mercier Bridge. So it's now approaching 5:10 p.m. Very beautiful 9th day of March of the year 2026. And by the way, I should correct myself. It's no longer Eastern Standard Time, it's Eastern Daylight Savings Time, so I have to make a correction. I have to get used to saying that. So it's 5:10 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So just to orientate ourselves here, we're facing the camera towards the south. There's a little Burgundy. See what the wide angle camera is like here. Maybe we'll stick to that for a few minutes. Yeah, so there's little Burgundy. Soon we'll be coming up to the St. Henry district. See Ile des Sœurs, Nuns Island, the South Shore in the distance. There's Atwater Market. Right to the right of that church over there. Lino Crew Metro Station as well, right down there. Something that's always a treat to see is, if you look carefully in the distance, over there, you'll get a better view here in a moment. But check out that wind farm down there. Look at all the windmills. Kind of saw them there for a minute, at least a few seconds. But that's a wind farm, I believe, in Saint Remy. May get a view of that again here in a moment. Right down there you can see the wind farm, wind turbines, way in the distance. Of course, this is the highway that quite a few STM buses take going to the West Island. The 211, 405, just to name a few, and of course the 411. Soon to be the only bus that will go from Lino Gru to St. Anne de Bellevue, McDonald Terminus. It's going to turn into a frequent service bus. There's the Turcotte interchange. So far, traffic seems to be holding up smoothly, which is always a good thing. There's a Concordia shuttle bus, another Nova Bus LFS. So it says here we have 38 minutes approximately left of bus ride left, and we should be arriving at 5:50 p.m. And the stop I'm getting off at, by the way, is Principal and Dieuville, right by the Châteauguay River. So that's what we're going to see in another video, what those ice jams and floods look like. So it looks like we're on a good schedule so far. There's LaSalle directly outside the window, sort of. There's another Exo bus. There's an STM bus. So there's a Prevost coach bus, Keolis. That's the one I took to Ottawa. Keolis. And that big mound of snow you see in the distance is actually where they dump the snow during snow removal operations. The lovely 211 just went by towards Lino Group. So we should be turning off soon towards the Mercier Bridge exit. And you may or may not know, but where we are right now used to all be train yards at one point. It was the Taschereau Yards, I believe it was called, or the Turcotte Yards. My bad, it was the Turcotte Yards. So the Turcotte Yards is, of course, historical rail yard in Montreal, and I think they all relocated to the Taschereau Yards, which is sort of to the north of here, more or less. There's a 2008 Nova Bus, Bio Bus. So it looks like traffic's picking up here a little bit. If there's a lot of traffic, what I'll do is I'll pause the video every once in a while, just so it's not too long. But hopefully it won't be too slow, the traffic, where we'll have to do that. There's a lovely 411 just went by. Another Exo bus. Beautiful thing about the Exo buses is that there's so many different colors. There's a range of colors. Makes it interesting. So here we are now, about to go on to the Mercier Bridge exit. Here in the Ville-Saint-Pierre region, there's the old bridge. So now we'll be turning sort of towards the left, and then we'll be going southward for the rest of our voyage here. So this is the Ville-Saint-Pierre interchange. This is very reminiscent of the old Turcotte interchange. This is what the old Turcotte interchange used to look like. So this will probably be demolished next. I wouldn't be surprised. Will be replaced with a similar structure as the Turcotte interchange, modern structure. Not sure when that's going to happen, but this was built, I believe, around the same time as the Turcotte interchange, so it's definitely due for a demolition. So here we are now in the LaSalle borough, the LaSalle sector of Montreal. Looks like we're getting some traffic backlog here, go figure. Something I was hoping would not happen. There's another Exo bus. So this area that we're in right now is called the Whiskey Trench, and the reason it's called that is because it smells like yeast from the Fletchman's Yeast factory, which is around here. And there's also a beer brewery there, Budweiser, I believe. You'll see the famous water tower coming up here in a moment. So of course the Whiskey Trench, if you're around this area and you're able to smell, depending on the wind, you will smell some yeast and sometimes some alcohol being brewed there at the brewery, the beer factory. There's the tower there. There's my favorite color of Exo bus, that beautiful sky blue. So we're very close to the Duke Canal station and the LaSalle station of the Candiac Exo train line. Yeah, and I'm smelling that yeast right now. Hence why it's called the Whiskey Trench. If you were here now, you would smell it as well. There's also a couple of chemical facilities around here, chemical plants. So what I'll do is pause the video for a bit and then I'll resume it here once we get a bit further near the bridge. Alright, so here we are now, almost on the Mercier Bridge, and yeah, it looks like traffic's getting faster here. And check it out, there's the beautiful St. Lawrence River right below us coming up here. And you can see that wind farm again in the distance. Beautiful wind farm, wind turbines. And in this direction, of course, is the West Island of Montreal and whatnot. And that bridge right beside us is the train bridge, where we have our freight trains going, as well as the Exo Candiac line. And there's a midi bus, 99. I don't know if you guys can see, but we have some big chunks of ice in the water flowing. There's the superstructure of the bridge. Superstructure. And we are now in Ganawage, First Nations territory. 23 minutes left of bus ride till we get to our destination. So now we are facing, the camera's facing towards the east, more or less. And I believe this is known as the Route 138. This is the 138. Once we pass Kahnawake, we will be in Châteauguay next, which is where we're going to be getting off, right by the Châteauguay River. This is a very interesting area because you're not in Montreal, you're not in the city, you're off island. It's really like the country out here. You'll see a lot of old structures, barns and whatnot. I think we're going to get a look here at the new, relatively new Châteauguay Exo bus terminus that was under construction for a while. We're going to be seeing that hopefully soon. I've never actually visited that terminus. So yes, we are on the 138. You can see there's all kinds of little convenience stores and whatnot. Heard on the news about that flooding and the ice jams, I wouldn't be on this bus right now. That's mainly the reason I came out here, and I decided, hey, why not film the bus ride going to Châteauguay. Look at that little convenience store there. It's basically just a little shack or shed. Gas is at $1.61.9, almost $1.62 a liter. Times like this, I am so happy that I do not have a vehicle. I believe Julian trains forever. He's an Exo driver. He's doing the one route today. Of course, that's the one that goes to Valleyfield. And yeah, I took that bus quite a bit in the past decade or so. And there's the one right there. Is that Julian? That might have been Julian there. So that one bus used to be a coach bus. Yeah, I used to take it all the time to Châteauguay and back. Fortunately, not the case anymore. That's where my ex-girlfriend used to live, or still does live, who knows. But don't want to think about that. Obviously painful. But yeah, the one bus used to be a coach bus. Now it's Nova Bus. In fact, a lot of the Exo buses have been replaced by Nova buses. The Exo coach routes. There's still a couple around that do use coach buses. There was one actually a couple of nights ago. I was with Parsi, another fellow transit fan. I think it was the 713, Exo 713 from, I think it was Dumaltang to St. Dorothy Station. So that was the coach bus, and I think a couple of others still use coach buses, specifically the 700s in Varennes, Sorel, Contrecoeur. Shout out to Redbird. Haven't heard from him in a while. Redbird, another fellow transit fan. But check out these old style buildings here. You got these like little ranches and stables. So I think we're on the border now of Kahnawake and Châteauguay. I think that used to be an old caboose at one point. Check that out. I wonder if this actually goes to that new terminus that just opened up within the last year or two here in Châteauguay. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. So there's the Châteauguay sign right there. Take a look. Right there. I definitely don't come here often, but it definitely has a really nice nature vibe to it, especially where I'm going to be getting off. Looks like they're building something here. There it is, the Châteauguay terminus. So we're going to get a first view of it for me. I was watching this terminus being built over the years. So we got some MIDI buses, some Nova buses. Looks like they're still doing a bit of finishing touches on it. So that's the Châteauguay bus terminus right there. There's the 111. I think that goes to Terminus Centre-Ville as well. Another MIDI bus. I guess this is the main connection point for all the Châteauguay area buses. Pretty nice terminus. Wow, really nice. Exo security vehicle. I haven't seen those in ages. Alright, so for us, we have 11 more stops to go. And according to the transit app, we have 12 minutes left to our destination. There's another little bit of trivia. The system that you're hearing right now and you're seeing, the next stop announcements, this right here, this is Chrono system, same as the Chrono app. This is used by Exo, but now the RTL is starting to use them as well. The Longueuil South Shore buses, they're using the Exo Chrono tracking system and next stop announcement system. I didn't even know there was an indoor area for the terminus. Pretty cool. Shelter. Albert Einstein, another Exo midi bus. So we're coming up to d'Anjou Street. Which is the main street here in Châteauguay, one of them. And that turns into Principal Street, which is where we're going to be getting off. So here we are now going on to d'Anjou. So I'm looking here, it looks like the back door is broken. There's a sign that says use the front door, so. So you hear those announcements, those are now being used by the RTL. So we're 8 stops away, 7 minutes away from our stop. Oh, that sun is bright. Whew. So this is, I guess, the main commercial area of Châteauguay. It's where you have your shopping mall and whatnot. Big city halls around here. Tell you one thing, Exo definitely does have the most comfortable buses in the region, Montreal region. I'd say Exo followed by the STL, and the RTL is quite close as well to the STL in terms of comfort. STM is sort of comfortable. I guess it depends on what bus you get, what year, but definitely Exo, in my opinion, is the most comfortable bus service in Montreal in terms of seating. It's easy to see why here with these cushions on these seats. 6 more stops. So now that we are in Eastern Daylight Savings Time, I can tell you one thing I am happy about is the fact that when I finish work we got more light longer. Definitely helps boost the mood a bit, somewhat. So as I mentioned a couple of times, the main reason I came out here today is to film those ice jams on the Châteauguay River. So I'll be putting that video up sometime soon. So this bus is going to be going over the Châteauguay River on a little bridge coming up. So we may see from this bus ride some of those ice jams. Alright, next stop is ours after this one. There's the Châteauguay River right there.
Ok, tu me dis l'autobus est éteint. Ok, on va le laisser dans le téléphone.
A été annulé et j'aimerais que tu fasses un stand-by stand-by.
Alright, so we made it to our destination here in Châteauguay. And there's the Exo bus we were on, Transdev. So there you have it, guys. So if you liked the video, as always, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on your notification bells. As always, more videos to come. Time to check out the river.